for finding patterns. And here I will cover things like grep and find and wildcards and regular expressions. For what maybe you are looking for some specific pattern in a file, for instance, a word or the name of an author that you want to see if you mentioned him in the article you're writing or something. How do we find it? Or what are regular expressions? Let's see. So here we'll try to use grep and find and wildcards and expressions to find regular expressions to find things. And in these cases, in many of them, I say you should try and code along and see what happens. And we're going to work in the directory patterns. Go back. Patterns. So I'm here. And that is a good directory to work in because there's already a lot of files that has some content that are good for searching here. And let's go and look at grep. That command is used to search for patterns in text files, and you use it by giving grep and some options and the file that you want to look in. Common options are -I for ignore case. That is very useful because maybe you're looking for the word, but you don't know if it's capitalized or not. -O, only output the instance of the pattern, not the whole line, because the default is to give the full line. -E, use a regular expression as a pattern for what you search for. -C, don't output the line, just print a count of matching lines. -N, prefix line of output with the line number. -R, read all files in the directory recursively. If you don't give any operands, grep will search the working directory. And you can always, as usual, use man and the command here grep to get more options. And there is a file named feed.txt in the exercises patterns directory. And there's also a new file of text that is useful for these examples. So if we are working, looking for the pattern word in file, let's try do that. See if it's there. And this file has the word. And what if I wanted to look for it in a subdirectory? Well, I could give all these options here. And as you can see, I ignore the case because I wanted the word regardless of how it was spelled, with capital letters or not. I want it recursively. I am going to also be told what line number it is. And I could use a regular expression. I'm not using that here, but I could. So that is what these options mean. And then again, I'm searching for word inside a specific directory that is found in this location. So let's try and see how we find the pattern string in new file text. And of course, there is grep string. No. It is there quite a number of times. What if I also wanted to count them? Let's do it for this one here. So remember, line, vertical line is piping, sending the output to word count and line numbers. 3 here. What if I instead wanted to take these lines here and send them to a file? I can do that. I can say file out. And now file.out should contain these lines, and they do. So let's do this, and let's try and look for them again, and then concatenate it. And that should now mean that there are 2 instances of it, and there is, as you can see, 1 and 2. So that is what you can do with grep, among other things. There is also a command called find, and that is used for file and directory search instead of inside of files. You can now search by name, size, modification time, or content also. So the syntax is find, and the path, it will start in the directory you work in on your working directory, unless you tell it a different starting directory. Then there are some options, and then an expression that's the criteria for search, file filtering, and locating a file. It could be maybe you only search for text files, or only files named docs, something like this. There's a mistake in the formatting of this line. Useful command options, common options. Minus type F is very commonly used. You tell it you only search for files. Minus type D would then instead be only directories. Minus name and the name, only search for files that has a specific name or pattern. And then you can also search with minus size for files depending on how large they are, if you only want to find large files or if you only want to find small files. And you can find files based on modification time. And it's also possible to execute a command on each of the files found. So, and again, man find is your friend. You can get lots of options in. So let's again try and go to the patterns directory. And again, the wildcard star or asterisk is useful here. It means a string of 0 or more characters. I will talk about it very shortly. But in this example, you can find all files with the extension .text that you're standing in. So you can try to do that. There is also a much simpler way of doing it, but let's do it like this. Find in this directory. Dot is the current directory, as you remember. We only want files, so that's minus type F. And then we want the named text. So now you get all the ones named text. You could, since it's this, also just do ls text. But yeah, this is an example. So what if you want to find all files where the word file is part of the name in the directory while you are standing in another directory? So let's try do that. Let's try go up 1. And let's try to go to the script directory and then say, I would like to find in the directory patterns. I'm now giving a relative path. There I want to find files, and they should in their name have file or anything before and after. So now it finds anything that has the string file name. So I will now talk a bit more about wildcards. So we already used one wildcard. We used the asterisk. That's a very useful one that matches 1 or 0 or more characters. They are used for stand-ins for a character or number. So you use them when finding patterns or maybe removing or listing all files of a certain types. They are also called glubbing patterns. There is more info here if you feel like reading it. Some of the common wildcards to use are a question mark. It represents a single character. There is the asterisk, that is 0 or more characters. You can give a range with these parentheses or squiggly parentheses. The terms are separated by commas. Each term must be a wildcard or exact name. A question mark in hard parentheses matches any character that is not listed between the parentheses. That's a logical knot. And there was an escape character there that is not there because I failed on the formatting. Yeah. Okay, but note one thing, depending on the system, you may need to put quotation marks around wildcards. You don't always need to, but at many systems you do need it. So if it's not working or complaining, then try put quotation marks around it. There are some examples again in the patterns directory. So I'm going to go back to that directory. And there I will try and run these examples here. And I think you should type along. There will be some here we can try and do there in just a short moment, but we can try to use ls on these to see them here. So my file question mark the text. What will that match? Well, it should match anything that is one character here. So let's say ls and then my file question mark and text. It lists my files 0, 1, 2, 3 and my files also. So you see it with any character, number, letter, whatever. What matches R asterisk D? Nothing of that here. Nope, not. Let's do A, and then you have 5 different ones. And this here will match anything that, but only those that are in between here. So it matches rack, rig, and rock. This here matches any 3-letter word starting with A, ending with A, and has characters D, E, F, G, H, I, J in between. And we can also test that with ls. So we say J, if, and you can see it outputs this in here. And you can also use this to just pick numbers instead of letters, of course. And you can also say you want to do something specifically to files of a specific type. So maybe you want to copy anything, any file that ends with .c PDF, and you want to copy them to some specific place. In this case, it will be the user's home directory. A tilde also addresses the home directory. This, as you remember, is one or more instances. And remember, no space must be between the commas because then it will fail. So the formatting requires you to write it in this way. And also, you can remove something because you remember there was this example here, match character that is not listed here. So if you wanted to remove all these files here, that's called this file, except the one that is this file 8, then you could do it with this line here. Let me try to do that. And then say ls. Then they are all gone except for this one. Of course, if you wanted them back, you can always just untar the directory. Regular expressions. They are also a type of blocking patterns, and they are used when you are working with text. You use them with grep and find and many others. It's like those you can with wildcards. So you can match single characters with a dot, just like the question mark does with the wildcard expressions. A slash is used as an escape character if you have to search for a special character. For instance, if you were searching for a $sign, you would have to escape it. You can match any string with dot star. It matches the star in standard wildcards. A star is means that the preceding item is matched 0 or more times. So for instance, n star matches n, etc., but not na or anything else. Hat is the beginning of the line. So hat A is a line starting with an A. Dollar is the end of the line. And then you can give a range. And you can use a line, a vertical line for logical OR. And this hat is the equivalent of the exclamation mark, so that's a logical not. And matches anything not listed in the square brackets. So these things are quite used, and you can use them to build up searches for something or looking for something specific. So here you are taking the content of the file, my file. You are piping or sending the output, the content of it, to the command grep. And grep will be looking for lines starting with an S, a small s, and ending with an N, and then print them to standard output. So this is just an example. And many more can be built from this.